Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk episode 280.2. That's right, another segment of Barrett Jackson coverage. 280, we dropped 3 interviews, and we're going to drop 3 more here today. These 3 interviews are all Barrett Jackson Cup participants. Great show, tons of action. We hope you enjoy the coverage. Here we go. Enjoy the pod. Late.
Hey guys, let me tell you about LMC Truck. Keeping generations on the road. Think about that. It's pretty deep. So whether your truck was handed down or something you went out and bought, odds are you were handed a bunch of paperwork, maybe a folder. In that folder was probably the catalog. You know the one, the most up-to-date and detailed catalog available today. It's like an encyclopedia for our trucks. Their website is just as detailed and informative. lmctruck.com. lmctruck.com. So whether you're restoring old memories or creating new ones, LMC Truck is here to help. They're more than just a parts company. They truly understand the lifestyle and passion of owning a classic truck. So get out there and get to work on your truck and know that LMC is here to help. You can get online, lmctruck.com, and order your free catalog today. Keeping generations on the road. lmctruck.com.
Let me tell you what Melba Toast is packing right here. I've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth clapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
What's up? What's up? We're hanging out again. We've got Matt De Los Cobos. I want to make sure I say it. What a cool name. So, De Los Cobos, out of California. Beautiful 1972 K5 Blazer, original two-wheel drive, and we're in the Cup. So, Matt, congrats. You made the Cup. How did you get and or find yourself here at the Cup, the Barrett Jackson Cup? How'd you get this invitation?
Well, basically, I've been showing this thing off all year since it was done last February 2023. So we kind of just been making our way around different shows, getting some notoriety out there.
Getting some love?
Yeah, getting a lot of love. It's been an incredible build, an incredible year. So I got fortunate enough to get an email invitation to apply for the Barrett Jackson Cup. I filled it out. Next thing I know, they said, congratulations, you're in. And I was floored. So just for someone like myself, just humble beginnings, to be in a spot like this is pretty incredible.
Fellow firefighter, he's an engineer. And did you do a lot of the build? Did you facilitate it? What's the story in the background on that?
Yeah, so I facilitated a lot of the build. This is obviously everything was, my inspiration, my vision.
Your paycheck?
That's true, yeah. A lot of that and the wife's, so I got the blessing from Mama. That's always important. But, I did a lot, some of the final assembly a little bit with a couple of buddies, but most of the majority of the work was done by Hot Rods and Customs out of Escondido. They did a phenomenal job on this paint and body. As you can see, it's just absolutely gorgeous, gapped. And then, it just shows a snowball project that just took off, and just to be here is pretty cool.
Well, that's what they do, right? We love that. So what would you say was kind of the hardest decision when you think about working with the builder, your inspiration, your vision? What was some of the struggles, the ups and downs of the build?
I think the struggles, as everybody knows, how things snowball is just like the time it takes to get things done. We had a lot of delay issues, unfortunately, with COVID, just getting parts that we're waiting on 6-7 months for just a small piece of thing that would hold up the build. And so we struggled a lot with that. And we had to kind of find innovative ways to creative ways to move the build process along. And then just, it was cool. We had a really great relationship with the builder, just bouncing ideas off of each other. Maybe, they had more expertise in some areas that I didn't know, so they advised me in a lot of different ways. And we just made a cohesive build together, and it came out pretty awesome.
Yeah, it really did. And it wouldn't it wouldn't, if you weren't here, then we'd know, but you are here. So some of the bigger changes are going to be your 67, 68 front clip on a tool drive Blazer, the paint color, and the wheels. Walk us through those big decisions.
Yeah, so the biggest decision, probably the hardest decision we had, was I had an original 72 two-wheel drive frame for this year, which is rare. They only built 3,357 of them in 72. So to kind of ditch that frame, because it kind of needed a lot of work, there had been a little bit of, hack job for the previous owner. So in order to make that chassis right, it was just going to be so much more effort. And we decided to just go with a full frame swap from Scott's Hot Rods. And then so just ditching that kind of originality of it was a tough call. A lot of people would say they'd want to keep the original frame because it's so rare. And yeah, that was a hard decision to do that, but we went ahead and did it. It turned out for the best. I mean, everything's all fully modern underneath, rack and pinion steering, Ford 9-inch rear end, 4-link suspension in the rear, and adjustable American coilovers. And then we just did the full crate motor on it. It's got a GM Connect and Cruise LS3 with the 525 horsepower crank in it, the hot cam. And then we just picked some really nice wheels. Chris Coddington is a rad dude over at Hot Rods by Boyd. We did a custom set of one-off HRX3 wheels, powder-coated and Cerakoted in charcoal gray with the polished lip, custom back spacing. It just really fits on the chassis with the body extremely well. Kind of keep that look and that vibe of that original two-wheel drive, but everything modern underneath.
Well, I think you nailed it, right? You talk about giving it that old school look. You went with the blue that's, really a rad, kind of reminds me of the Toyota blue, and then with the white. Some people ditch the white. You kept the white. And the other thing that's really unique is you went with the 67, 68 trim, which, again, is going to be something you don't see in a Blazer.
Right. So you nailed it right on the head. You got a good eye for that. This is Toyota Cavalry Blue paint. I just love that color ever since Toyota came out with it, and I saw it on those trucks. And what I really did like about it is this truck was actually originally a medium blue color. It's actually very close to the original color that it was. It was a CST truck as well, so we wanted to keep a lot of those options on here. And then when I did buy the truck, it happened to have that 67 front end, but I was going to do that anyway, so that was just a bonus that it came with it. And the cool thing was it's actually original 67 sheet metal from a true 67 truck, so it's no aftermarket sheet metal on this at all. That's really the only thing that's original is the body and the top. Everything else has been basically brand new. But yeah, we kept a lot of the classic touches like the trim, the mirrors, just little touches to keep it classic, even the dash, the radio, stuff like that. I wanted to keep it like as original as possible in some of the styling cues, but then have lots of, little touches of modern here and there, just in a tasteful way.
Okay, it is exactly tasteful. It's absolutely stunning. How's the shakedown been? How's the going to the shows, running it, driving it, enjoying it? Have you had as much time as you had wanted? And then working through some of those kinks?
Going to the shows, there's been no issues there. I pretty much made it to most of them that I wanted to go to. We had one little delay. We wanted to be at the Brothers Truck Show back last summer. We had a transmission issue that just unfortunately it happens even with new transmissions, but GM, it's a brand new thing. They warrantied it. We swapped it out. We were able to get the issues ironed out. And got a new transmission in there. Obviously had to do, the labor, putting it all back in and repainting it and getting it all together. So a little bit of setbacks here and there. So the shakedown just, like everybody else, they always have their issues, even though they're brand new. You're going to have to work on the little kinks here and there. But, I've been driving it a bunch. I've got over 2,500 miles on it already. So it's not truly just a show car. Like I built it to drive it and enjoy it. So kind of doing a blend of the both, just going to shows, but actually just taking it on long cruises. And even though it's nice, and sometimes I'll get little rock chips here and there, but it happens when you have a driver, or at least a car you're going to drive. So I just have to accept that fact that it's not going to be pristine all the time.
Good for you that you're driving it. You built it to drive it. Now, you did say that you used some of Mama's money to help. How's Mama liking it?
Mama's liking it a lot. She's definitely grown into the car world. She didn't originally. Her dad had like El Camino growing up, but it wasn't really her thing. But I think seeing me so interested, and this is my passion, she's definitely come a long way and actually really loves the truck. My daughter, she's 2.5. She loves getting inside the Blazer. She'll run up to me and say, Dad, can I go play in the Blazer? And it's super fun to just see her like light up when it comes back and forth from these shows and from the shop or whatever. And it's cool because I got another one on the way, and it'll be a cool family rig. We'll be able to go cruise down to the beach and go get ice cream. No ice cream in the car, but at least just being able to enjoy it with them is the main reason I got it. I had a C10 before this, but it's a single cab truck, and I'm like, not as family friendly, so we sold that, and then ended up with the Blazer, which is what I really wanted to do. So I'm happy we found one and actually built it. And yeah, Mama's just been awesome, just letting me do my thing with this. And I can't thank her enough for that.
Good. You're living the dream if you think about it. And, having the kids, having the family, Mama loves it. The kids will forever remember it depending on how long it stays around. Do you have a name for it?
It doesn't have a name, and I debated that. I was like, I knew I was probably going to make like an Instagram page for it, and I was like, do I want to call it something, and something based off of some blue color, and I just couldn't really think of anything. I just went with a simple like 2-wheel drive K5. That's my license plate. That's my hashtag and my my handle. So I kept it that name. It doesn't have like a true name, but if anybody wants to come up with a good one for me, I'm all ears.
Well, usually the kids will come up with something, so you kind of go with what they have to say.
Yeah, it's my daughter just loves just call it Daddy's Blazer, and she just emphasizes it. The way she says it is just so cute. And
you can come up with all kinds of names, but it all comes down to the kids. What happens if you're here, you're in the Cup, and somebody walks up to you and says, I want to buy this? Is that something that you would entertain?
It's something I would think about. It'd have to be the right number. I did not build this to sell it. Like, I'm glad that I'm here at Barrett showing it off, but I didn't build it to roll it across the block. I don't want to get rid of it. So everybody's got their, I don't want to sell it price. So it honestly would have to be something way up there. I don't want to lose money on it. It did take a lot of time and money, effort and energy, and I don't want that to just go by the wayside. I want to at least enjoy it for a little while before I start thinking about that. But everybody's got a price. I'm not an idiot. So if the right number comes along and someone offers some crazy money, I'm open. But
just don't tell Mama when somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I'll give you $250 for that," and she's like, "Yeah, we sold it already, babe."
Yeah. So it's it would have to be a big discussion to actually let it go. And then if I did something again, obviously another project, it would roll right into that. Maybe.
What would you build?
I want to stick with a Chevy. I'm just a Chevy guy in general. I like, the late 50s trucks even to go back to a truck, but something a little bit more like where I wouldn't have to worry about it. Honestly, like I would love something with just a little bit of patina, maybe just a natural patina, not too crazy, but I would still do all the same, like, hot rod stuff underneath, get a nice, good power plant in it, good suspension, actually make it a good driver that I could rip around, have fun. We could still have fun at shows, fun with the family. But then I don't care if I'm in a supermarket parking lot and someone, dings it, So that would be a little bit less stress off of me.
That's the hard part, having a vehicle like this. I'm choked up because I love his name. So we're going to let him go. Matt De Los Cobos. De Los Cobos. I freaking love that thing. You guys can check him out. It's 72 two-wheel drive K5.
The handle is the number 2, two-wheel drive 72 K5. So 2WD 72 K5.
2WD, two-wheel drive 72 K5. Check him out. I'm going to call it the Magoo Blue Blazer. We're going to come up with a name, but the bottom line is the kids say, what's up? Matt, thanks for taking time. Congrats for being out here. And I hope you win. How's that looking? Do you guys even know yet how that's shaking down?
Well, they've picked the top 5 as far as the actual True Cup. So those are already set. But there's that People's Choice Award that's still it's up to you guys. It's up to the people that are walking around. And I've gotten a lot of love and support from everybody. And there's so many other amazing cars here. I did not come here with the intention or like the expectation to win. Like just being here in general is like a reward enough for me. So I'm honored and flattered literally to just be among some of the literally the best builds in the world.
Totally. You're absolutely correct. And to be amongst this people, that's a true honor, I'm sure. So thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. Be safe out there. You guys check them out. Late.
Appreciate it, Ronnie. Thank you.
Dude, What's up? Barrett Jackson. We're still in the Cup. Love this burb. The first time I saw my buddy Chad post it, Struggle 55, what's up? I've got Michael, make sure I say it right, Petramalo. He's out of Pacific Northwest. This was built by J-Rod up in the Seattle area, Black Diamond.
You got it.
Why a Suburban? Thanks for taking time to be on C10 Talk.
Absolutely. Just it's big and out of the box. You don't see too many of them, so that kind of set us off down the path of, going a little different.
Well, you went different. It's big. And here's my thoughts on an extra cab, a Suburban. You got to go low and you got to go deep in the rear, and you did that.
Absolutely. For this, we wanted to build something that we could drive. Have 2 daughters that like to go to cars and coffee runs with me, so that was another inspiration for this, was just having room for the family. Big horsepower, sitting low, big and wide out back. So we drive it hard, and we have fun with it.
Recipe is spot on. What about the color? I love the color. It just pops. When you were sitting down and you're drawing it up and you're working with J-Rod, walk us through some of those big decisions.
Color was really the easiest. So I bought this about 12 years ago at Barrett Jackson in Vegas. drove it around for a couple of years and just decided to tear into it. The white roof on top actually is a Ferrari color, and that comes from racing Ferraris. So between the roof and the interior, a little bit of a nod to Ferrari, but I wanted to keep this very nostalgic. Wanted to have a late model vehicle that, like I said, I could really drive hard, but paying homage to vehicles of the 60s. So there's some touches here and there that play to both sides of that.
So a guy who races Ferraris, passionate about that. You build a big old burb. When you get in it and it's heavy and it, is probably a lot different. I haven't really ever been in a Ferrari or raced one, but I've been in some Bourbons. What's that like, that transition?
Well, believe it or not, it's not too different than running the Ferrari. GSI built us a chassis for this thing. I believe that it is the only one that exists. So J-Rod and the guys flipped it on its side, scanned it, sent them all the measurements, and they knocked it out for us pretty quickly. So all started with that platform, again, with the idea that we wanted to drive it. We wanted big horsepower. I can tell you when we ordered the wheels and tires for the back, we made sure and ordered an extra set.
Yeah, and those wheels are stunning. Walk us through that. When you said, hey, color was kind of easy, we went with the GSI chassis, but we know we wanted to go big on the rear and then really make things kind of look appropriate with the wheel. It seems like guys can make or break it with the wheel, and you made the right decision.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that. It, for me, it's all about fit and function. The aesthetics of the vehicle, proportions are very, very important. So I knew I wanted some satin and some gray in here, wanted some chrome, so we decided to throw that all together in that big wheel out back that Schott built for us. Pulled some of the colorways into the motor as well. So we just allowed it to evolve. I mean, we did not design this. We had an overall theme from day one, but just let the vehicle talk to us, and it came together really well. The guys at J-Rod, I mean, they breathe this stuff day in, day out. I've been into vehicles for 20 plus years with my father, so just I know enough that we allow it to come together and see what we want. Like I said, allow it to evolve into what it wants to be.
Well, I don't know if you guys drink bourbon or not, but when you think about a bourbon, I love what you're saying, something that's just like we let it breathe over time, the fit, the function, and what you did. I hope you build more stuff, whether it's in our era of the C10 world or not, because you have a good vision and good style, and sometimes you just have to take what's already given, and GM gave us a lot of really good stuff. You went with the GMC, you got the 67, 68, which is really always going to be classy. Your interior, the whole thing really came together, and that's why you're here at the Cup.
Yeah, it really was a fun vehicle to put together. Like I said, I've been doing this for quite a long time. I mean, and I recall being a just small little kid wandering around the shows with my dad, looking at the muscle cars from the mid-'60s, and there's a lot of him that's in this as well. All the touches to Targa and the business. We launched this car in the 35th anniversary of our company, so that's why there's so much of that rolls in here as well. We're a Chevy family, so I wanted to make sure we had the orange on the block just to tie all of that together. But just a really fun vehicle, and there's absolutely a few more in the works, and we'll be putting that plan together here real soon.
Well, we'll have to stay tuned. Michael, what would you build? Whether it be a Chevy, whether it be a C10, anything, what's some of the different things that you're real passionate about?
On the car side of things, so I used to drag race way back when, and the first vehicle for me was a 65 Chevelle. That's still in the garage, so that's one we're going to look to here real soon. And it's been fun. Have my kids in it, like I said, going around to different cars and coffee events. So they're at the ages now where they'll have a hand in building it and designing it. So that more than anything is something that I look forward to because, like I said, I was so involved with my father growing up and working on his 58 Corvette long time ago. So it's definitely a family adventure for us.
Oh, we're lucky. The lineage of growing up GM, growing up Chevy, and then, like you said, when you were a kid, you were going around, it was muscle car era. Now we see a lot of the trucks, and we see that, and your kids get to take involvement in it. He's local here sometimes, so if he's not up in the Pacific Northwest, he's hanging out here in the Valley, Phoenix, Scottsdale area. We hope that we get to see you at the reunion. Is there anything left on this bourbon that you want to knock off?
Boy, that's a long list. Huge thanks to the guys at J-Rod. My father, obviously, for getting me into this, and McFarland Upholstery just knocked it out on the interior. Super comfortable. This thing is an absolute joy to drive. I mean, like I was telling you, I drove it 20 miles to get here. It is not a trailer queen whatsoever. It gets driven and driven hard. So looking forward to packing some more miles on it and having fun.
So one of the last questions here, I'll take you out. Being part of the Cup, even though it's not in the auction, if you got somebody that walked up to you and had to have it, would you sell it?
Well, I'd say absolutely anything's for sale. You always fund other projects, right?
Yeah. So, and that's the fun part, right? So you're out there, you're building, you're wrenching, somebody buys it, somebody throws a bunch of money at it, they got to have it, you can find another one, and that's sometimes part of the journey is just, hey, some guys, I don't even want to drive them, they're like, I just want to build them.
Well, this certainly holds a special place in my heart. Like I said, being our company's tied all into it, but there's always another one to be built, and it would be tough to wrestle it away from me, but it'll stick around.
Yeah, time will tell. Michael, J-Rod, you guys killed it with this thing. Last question, do you have a name for the burb?
This one goes by Zeppelin. We always get in it and crank Zeppelin of some sort, so it's stuck.
Nice. Plant, Palmer, whatever you're doing, Zeppelin, Michael, J-Rod, we're here at the Cup. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
Classic Performance Products, CPP back. Joe, let's talk X10 spindles. Go.
One of our most popular parts through the years has been our 2.5-inch drop modular spindles. Really popular part. Well, we've kind of taken that to the next step. We've emulated late model Corvette, Silverado, Chevy technology into our new X10 drop spindles. They use a steel hub, sealed bearing hub, really strong piece. It's oversized bearings. Definitely great for a guy using big brakes, big wheels, which I'm sure all your guys are.
You need a new spindle anyways. You're going to lower your truck. You're running a bigger wheel, a bigger brake. CPP's got it for you with their new X10 spindle. Joe, as always, thank you. CPP, classicperform.com. It's classicperform.com.
Sniper 2. Are you ready to switch out that old carb for a modern EFI system? Well, Holley has a solution for you. The all-new Sniper 2. This new system was redesigned from the ground up. Available in tumbled polished or black powder coat, and there's 3 available tuning interfaces. A classic 3.5 handheld, a 5-inch mountable, which includes a GPS speedo or a Bluetooth module so you can use your smartphone. Another big bonus is the Sniper 2 has a built-in transmission control module. So if you're looking to upgrade to a 4-speed overdrive, 4L60, 4L80, you now can with ease. Holley.com to get started today, Holley.com. Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LSLT-based power plant? Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the U.S. That's psiconversion.com.
Marquet has been in business for over 40 years. It all started in the original owner's garage. From humble beginnings of a couple parts in a garage to a 2-building manufacturing facility making over 6,000 parts, Marquet has grown to be one of the country's premier truck parts manufacturers. They have made their original parts from the original trucks. All parts are manufactured in-house in Oklahoma City, USA. They offer quality parts built by Americans for old American-made trucks. So when you're looking for body moldings, bed strips, bedwood, and so much more, think Marquet. That's mar-k.com.
Hey, how about a Ford? I know, but this is America's most beautiful truck. It won at the GNTS Grand National Truck Show, the first Grand National Truck Show 2023. I've got Greg Tidwell, and you've got a stunner here.
Thank you.
Why a 1940 Ford?
I always wanted a 1940 Ford because I like the lines. I mean, everything on it is Art Deco. It's got curves everywhere. I always thought they're beautiful. And I kept looking, and this one ended up with a buddy of mine. He started the project, and he hit a wall, and he was going to sell it. And I happened to come around one day, and he says, "Hey, I'm selling my truck. I'm over it, da-da-da-da-da." So I said, "How much?" And then here we go. I picked it up, took it over to South City, and away we went.
Okay, so this guy has it. Did you already know that he had it and you were keeping an eye on it, or were you like, just let me know?
No, I knew he had it, and he'd been working on it. He kind of had it for a while, and he was kind of going through the ropes on it, and then I had no idea he was going to sell it. All of a sudden, he just decided, hey, I'm over it, so I'm going to sell it. He had, just hit a wall, I guess, basically on the build of it and said, hey, I'm done. I'm going to move a different direction. So I said, okay.
After you get it, are you thinking it's going to be this extravagant? Are you thinking I'm going to build a driver? I'm going to build something I can just cruise with the grandkids? What are you thinking?
I wanted a clean driver. Everything I have, I drive. And I've got some nice stuff, but I still drive them, and I plan on driving this one. So yeah, I was kind of set for a driver, but I kind of had in my mind kind of a theme where I wanted to go, period. And, we kind of went through that process. But I did not know we'd end up here. Yeah. Didn't know this. I mean, I figured it'd be nice, but I didn't figure it would be this nice. I didn't know we'd win world's most beautiful truck. And that's a big one.
What would you say was the biggest challenge during the build? Once you take it from your buddy, you take it to South City, and you're like, hey, what paint, what scheme, what stance? What was the hardest part?
I had a couple things that I wanted. I told Bill when we did this thing. I wanted air conditioner to work, and the motor I wanted gold. And other than that, I kind of wanted a late 50s, early 60s kind of era theme, kind of American graffiti-esque era. Wanted to look and sit correct, and kind of the rest went from there. I think the biggest hurdle we had was probably the color. We started off with Bill had an idea on a color, which was a green like this. But every time we do a paint out, I'm like, man, it just didn't look right. So I left that green, and I went to gold, to purple, to red. I covered every color spectrum they had, right? And the long story on this thing is, you keep that plant in the back of your head, like, oh yeah, okay, green maybe, okay. And I just never could get any pop out of it. I want something that really gets you. I want it to look elegant, but I want somebody to go, wow, that's pretty. So I kind of had an idea, and we decorate a Christmas tree differently every year. So this year we go up, and I started to get some ornaments and stuff at the store, and the wife goes, you got a bunch of hodgepodge stuff. Let me deal with this. I go, okay, but I kind of want to get this color area because I kind of want to see what it's going to look like on the truck, right? I kind of want to get an idea on these colors. So she does, and she comes back and she sets this tree up, and it is the most beautiful Christmas tree we've ever had. It is absolutely stunning, right? And I'm, wow, man, it's gorgeous. So I'm sitting in the chair one night and watching TV, and I'm having a cocktail, and I kind of look over at the tree, and I go, man, that color's got to be on this tree. It has to be here. So I'm like, So I look over, and I see this one ornament, and I go, that's it. That's it. I get up from the chair, I go over in the tree, I picked out the ornament, came back, and I go, that's it, done, pick the color. So I brought it into South City later that week, brought it into Bill, and he looked at me and he goes, you're kidding me. And that's how we ended up. Took it to Bill, then he took it to Compani Color. They did a match on the color, chased it down, took Joe about 2 to 3 weeks to get the color right. It was a little hard test, but I had faith in him. He goes, man, I don't know. I go, I got faith in you, you'll get it. And he did, he nailed it. Got it just right, spot on to the ornament. So then we painted it, and then I was a little nervous. I was like, man, this could be a real dud or it could be a winner. There's no in between, And once it was on the chassis, it was kind of scary. But then when you put the truck together, it's like, okay, it's coming along.
Well, it really pops, and to think that you got it from an ornament.
Right.
You took it from ornament. So what does your wife say once you said, I'm going to paint the truck this color, and then now that she sees it the way that it is?
She thinks it's beautiful. I mean, she loves it, and she really, she was just kind of going along with what we had already, and, said, okay, hey, looks great. So it she loves the color. That's part of it too, is all the girls love the color. I mean, that's a win, right? At least, because a lot of girls are like, but it's a win, and that
definitely got that 50s era, kind of that poodle skirt era.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got some killer background music. Bear with us. Interior, you go with this color, and then you go with a rich mahogany style, deeper leather. Was that hard after you picked your color?
Well, Bill's a good lead, but my wife also had these like dark burnt bronze bulbs, ornaments along with that tree. So we kind of went through it. It kind of matched a pine cone kind of thing, and that was kind of the color tone. So going with Bill, we kind of came out with it's like a dark espresso. And I wanted a cloth mix on this one. I said, hey, I want a cloth mix. So I hooked up with Chris Plant, who did my Woody, and he kind of came up with this. Him and Bill kind of said, hey, here's what we got. Pick through here. What do you think? I went through and I go, hey, I like this. So I moved with Bill and I, and then I moved to Chris. And then Chris and I went through it. We kind of came up with some stuff. I go, you know what? It needs some embellishments. What are we going to do for buttons? And I'm looking all over for different buttons and this. And he came up with the Impala buttons. and it turned out good. And then Chris made the trim that goes in the door. That was all handmade. So a lot of the stuff that went in there, he did. It's just
another thing that pops is your white steering wheel with your white walls, so you get that balance. So you're getting the rich paint, the rich color, the rich wood bed with your interior, but you went with the white steering wheel with the white wall. What are you thinking on that white steering wheel?
I've got that in my Woody, and everything I do, I put that steering wheel in there because the steering wheel is just a winner. So that was the first thing that came in the truck before we even got started with the steering wheel. I did want white walls. That was another ad. I told Bill, I go, I want white walls. He's like, all right, away we go, white walls. You know, we kind of picked through that. The wood, the bed wood actually is Claro walnut. It came from Modesto. It was a tree that came out of Modesto. Cut it down. It was done. I had a friend of mine that deals with walnut. We took it in and had it milled and cut it into the bedwood. And so it's like local bedwood out of Modesto, hometown wood, and it's only grown in that region. So Claro walnut comes out of our Central Valley area, so it's a little different than most, so it's really kind of cool and unique walnut. And the color looks good. I mean, if you look at with the interior, it goes pretty good. So
they balance really well. So going back to your buddy who got the truck, where did the truck come from?
You know what? I don't know. He picked it up along, I don't know, along the area somewhere in the valley. He had it. I think he picked it up on, like Craigslist or something like that.
Probably a Cali truck. So you've got Cali walnut, Cali truck. Now, what about this motor? So I think the biggest thing is you kept it carbureted. You've got some nostalgic styling here. Again, you've kept it. You went with the Chevy small block. You've got the Ram horns. What about the motor? Was that an easy pick? Because, you're putting a Chevy motor in a Ford truck. That's a little bit sacrilegious, even though everybody does it.
Well, in that period of time, that's what they did, right? Yeah. So and I was going period correct. I'm kind of like, hey, I want to build at that time period, something that you would see cruising the streets. Hey, guy rolls out and this is what he's got. That's kind of where I was going with it. Like the wiring, I wanted cloth wiring. I wanted everything to be fit to that period. So when I bought the truck, it had a small block Chevy in it. Well, I thought it had a, 327, 350, right? I didn't dig into it. Well, come to find out, it had a 305. I'm like, Bob, what are we doing with the 305, right?
It's a boat anchor.
Exactly. I'm like, what do we do? So we yanked that out, put a 383 in it, and went with that. And then we went the carburation is actually fuel injection, and it made it look like it is. So
yeah, it does. Doesn't look fuel injection at all.
Yeah, so it looks like it should be period correct, and that's kind of the way we went. And then Bill came up with the screening on the interior. So when we redid the firewall, right, and then the wheel wells, like, okay, what are we going to do? We kind of matched the styling of the firewall, but the 44 doesn't get a lot of air, right? So it heats up, so you not getting a lot of volume in there from the front end. So Bill came up with the idea of the stainless mesh screening in there, and we just kind of cut
flow out of the deal.
Yeah, get more airflow out of it, and it looks cool too. I mean, it's kind of been a winner. I'm like, man, that looks good. Good idea.
Well, the damn thing barely fits in there. We'll take some B-roll of this screening to get more airflow. Love the truck, love the style, love your vision, and love your balls, because to paint a truck off of a Christmas ornament and match the wood, essentially the wood grain, the walnut, and the seat off of a Christmas tree. Do you have a name for this thing?
You know what? We've tossed this thing around 100 times. I've had 15 different names. Jade Pearl is what we ended up landing on. And I'm still kind of iffy. It was going to be the Traveler in the beginning, but just kind of way we go. So here it is. Jade.
So I love naming things.
Yeah.
And Feliz Navidad right now. It's coming to. Navidad. I mean, I look at this thing. It might be Feliz Navidad. I'm just saying, if you name a truck after a Christmas ornament, it might have to be Greg Tidwell. He's out of Cali. South City Rods. These guys killed it. Grand National Truck of the Year, 1940 Ford. Love it, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Feliz Navidad out.
That's all, folks.